venue is now officially known as the Autodrome Jose Carlos Page, after the famous Brazilian driver of the 1970s who had his first and only win in Sao Paulo. The Brazilian Grand Prix of 2008 was the scene of one of the closest title battles in F1 history. Lewis Hamilton shattered the dreams of Felipe Massa to take the championship in the final corner on the final lap of the race. With construction started in 1936, the Sao Paulo circuit is Brazil's oldest permanent autodrome. The track designers took inspiration from three main circuits: Brooklyn in the UK, Roosevelt Raceway in the USA, and Montoya in France. You join us here today at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix in Brazil. Drivers here will be tackling this 190-mile round trip with 71 laps of this iconic circuit. One of many things Sao Paulo is known for is its largest international population. The city of Sao Paulo has the highest concentration of population and features the world's only traditional.
Starting in just a second, have to fix a few things beforehand. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, welcome everybody to Lightning Speed Racing. Here we go for another season, another race, and this is the first ever time we are racing in Group 1 in season number 5. This is going to be a massive season. This is our top division as well, so the fastest, the best, the least assist drivers. This is going to be one heck of a race, I can tell you that. So we're here at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Page circuit, otherwise known as the Interlagos circuit in Brazil. This track has 15 turns to make up the circuit length of 4.3 kilometers. That is 2.6 miles long, and there's 2 DRS zones help encourage overtaking for around here as well. So expect a lot of overtakes here at Brazil. This is an iconic track as well, as many different exciting, iconic races have happened here in the past of Formula 1 and here in Lightning Speed Racing as well. It typically is our final round of the season, but today it is our pre-season event. No points are going to be scored here today. It's just a race for these drivers to get the feel of this grid, kind of get some practice in before the first race next week. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But anyway, I'm Formula Jonah, league founder, and one of the current owners, I guess you could say, for LSR. Today, this is the live stream for Group 1's preseason race around Brazil. And as I said, the fastest, best tier in LSR. So strap yourselves in. Let's get for a good race here today in Group 1 at Brazil. 13 minutes and about 45 seconds remaining of this session as well. This is qualifying. This is where the drivers will qualify, get ready for the official race itself, and see where they line up on the grid. And then we have the official race, the 36-lap race at the Brazilian Grand Prix. But anyway, if you are new to LSR, make sure to subscribe to our channel to see more content from this league. We not just have Group 1, which is our best top division. We also have our 3 other F1 divisions. Yes, 3 other. There's 4 F1 divisions on this game, a record for this league as well. And then we also have GT Racing. That one is currently not being streamed at the moment, but our other 4 F1 tiers will be streamed live on the LSR channel, hopefully. At least Group 1 and Group 2 will be. And we're going to try and get the Crossplay tier also streamed, and then Group 3, we'll see how that goes. We still need to get that tier ready and all that sort of thing. But if you have any questions, predictions, all that sort of thing, let me know down in the comments below. But we have to talk about this division. What is new to Group 1 heading into this season? Because it is very different to what it was last season. Last season, in season number 4, we had, I guess, a mix of drivers. We had a mix of assists. We had basically everything that was different about Group 1 to what it is now. Now we have only line enabled. These are the fastest drivers in this this tier as well. So we're going to see times maybe breaching the 106s as well. Last time out yesterday in Group 2, it was a seriously close race. If you did miss out on the live stream as well from Speedy Gunner, definitely go check that out. He was amazing on comms, and the race was truly incredible. Group 2 has received some huge changes, and we'll talk about those in the Group 2 live streams. But today we're focusing on Group 1. We have 14 drivers on the grid as well. You will see more as the season progresses. Of course, this is just the preseason race, so we're not going to see every single driver out on the grid. We're also going to see a different commentator in the booth as well. I'm not usually commentating on this tier. It's actually going to be James and Vacant, both previous racers and both current racers in Group 2 that are going to be commentating for this season. They will begin at the first race in Vegas. But I'm here just to stream the race, give you guys an insight on basically what is going on in Group 1, commentate over this, and basically give our drivers the first test of the season so far. This is season number 5. We have, I'd say, out of the drivers on the grid, this is the first season where I could say I have absolutely no idea who's going to come away with the championship. It's that close. It's that competitive, and it is something that I think it's going to rival the likes of PSGL F2, WOR. That's how quick this tier is going to be. I think a lot of us in the owner team, admin team, all that sort of thing, we have explained this as basically an esports event as a league, because that's how many esports drivers are in here. I think at least every single one of these are a part of some sort of team, and pretty much the rest of the grid as well. So anyway, we have a lot of new drivers on the grid from Group 1. Tails, fastest at the moment in the McLaren car, 107.7, a driver to look out for in this season as well. And throughout this qualifying session, I'll kind of be going through the lineups as well, just to let you know on that. So I guess we'll start off with McLaren. Tails, very quick driver, as we know from other esports events. This is his first season, I believe, in this league, as well as many drivers on this grid. So I'm excited to see what he can do. He is joined by Fraser. And apologies if I mispronounce your name on here. These are a lot of new drivers to the league, and I'm not very familiar with everybody, so apologies if I do mispronounce. But yeah, Fraser and Tails. Fraser is part of WOR, I believe, as it says on his name. So looking forward to see what McLaren do. Alpine have a very strong lineup as well. Robin and Rudy. I believe Rudy isn't here today, but Robin is. Robin is, I believe, part of JR, and Rudy is, of course, aka Sebelflair, used to be called Sebelflair, multiple Grand Prix winner in LSR, was one of the drivers to be in contention for the championship last season and seasons before, driver to win consistently last season. He was actually at Alpine. He returns to Alpine on the F1 23 game, so excited to see what the Alpines can do. Then we have Mercedes, one of the strongest driver lineups, I gotta say. Artem and Ickle. Ickle, of course, being a league founder. Artem as well, a very quick driver. They have similar pace, it seems, from what I've looked at in the past. So I'm excited to see what Mercedes can do. I think that they're going to be the team that's going to be the most consistent. But then again, do we know anything? This is just preseason. Ferrari has an interesting driver lineup as well. We have the German Pokerol. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I'm sorry if I didn't. And then he is joined by, I believe, a driver who's actually reserving for the Alfa Romeo team, Raul Ruiz. Raul is actually just been promoted to the Ferrari team, as another driver had to step down to reserve role, but he is reserving for Alfa Romeo today. Will be joining Ferrari for the full season, and excited to see what Ferrari can do. I think they're going to be a very quick team as well. Then we also have Aston Martin, Jinx, CPI Jinx, and I believe IRS Kasabi, both of those drivers very quick from what we've seen in the past of other leagues, not in LSR. Again, the majority of these drivers are not LSR drivers or have not raced so far. Haas has Zabi and McLeod. Both, I think, are not here at the moment. Tails improves on his time, a 107.7. Looking forward to see what he can do throughout the remainder of the session. AlphaTauri, Silent, and Nod. Both of their drivers are here today, so great to see AlphaTauri showing up with the good attendance for the preseason event. Again, this is a little different. We'll see a different kind of grid, as you could say. This is just a taster to what's to come for the full season. Who else do we have? Alfa Romeo, Fleddy, and Spicer. I believe both aren't here, but Fight Me Now Bot is reserving for the Alfa Romeo team. We know Fight Me Now Bot. He's our head steward as well in the league. And he's about to set an even quicker lap time and see what he can do. He goes P3 with a 107.720. Good improvement from Fight Me Now Bot up into third position. Williams has CPI, BTOM, and Bats Plus. Bats is here today in the Williams car. BTOM, I believe, is racing in another event, but actually in another LSR event. He's racing in the GT, and he should be joining throughout the season. Of course, we know BTOM. He is multiple champion in LSR. He's won 3 titles, the most successful driver in LSR history, which is great to see as well. And then finally, we have Tano and Jeslar in Red Bull. Really excited to see what Red Bull can do. As we know, Tano, a previous champion, returns to Group 1 after winning the Constructors in Season 3 with Mercedes, with Xiaomi and himself. Some of you may know him as Yuki, STR Tano, now AMS Tano. So looking forward to see what Tano can do. But that's the driver lineup. Sorry if that took a lot of time of qualifying, but yeah, I wanted to make sure that we did all of that. Let's ride on board with one of these drivers, see if we can get a good onboard lap. Artem has also improved on his time to go fastest overall for Mercedes, a 107.681. Very quick lap time from Artem. Let's see what he can do in the future. But here comes Nod. Let's see what his lap is going to be. Riding on board with the AlphaTauri driver, heading down into turn 1. And we're going to head into turn 2 now, into 3. Long left-hander, and Vacan says he might be able to join for commentary. Yeah, Vacan, I'll try and get you in here right after this lap with Nod. Down the long straight, the first of the long straights, I guess you could say, into turn 5. Very good exit for Nod at the current moment into the narrow point of the track. Uphill section for turn 6, right-hander as well. This is a traction zone since it's uphill. Very hard to get right. Into turn 7, heavy braking zone. You want to slam your foot on the brake, and into 9. This is a very tricky section as well. Traction, as you can see, Nod gets a little out of shape on the exit into turn 10 now for the AlphaTauri driver. This is where Albon and Hamilton made contact back in 2019. Turn 11 and into Junsao. Turn 12, final corner, final braking zone, and into 13, 14, 15, all flat out through these sections, revving up the gears as fast as you can. This is where speed matters right here. You want to get close to the left-hand side of the track, but that doesn't matter because you're just focusing on putting the throttle down as Nod comes to the line. It is a P7 lap time, a 107.974 into 7th position, ahead of the Ferrari and the Williams, and just behind Iko and Robin, who are P5 and P6 at the current moment. And I'm going to try and get Vacant into the comms box here. Give me a moment. You'll see I don't know what to even call this. A pause menu. That's the word I was thinking. Let me see if I can get you in here, Vacant. One moment. All right, I have invited our that's not the right word. Our co-commentator, Vacant, can you hear us?
Hey, Jonah. Yes, I can hear you. So that's good.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for picking up stream. See, we're already in qualifying there, so...
We are indeed.
Finish setting up here.
Yeah, no problem. We are with about 4 minutes remaining of the qualifying session. If you need an invite to the session, I think it's in the Group 1 chat.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm Season 5 one.
I think I added you, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I'm not. So if you could just send me an invite, and then we can figure that out later.
Yeah, let me see if I can. let me see if I can. There we go. Okay, now you're added. You should be in that tier. You should get the invite from Ickles' message. So anyway, we have our final times coming out, viewers. Final drivers to set their times for the qualifying session to be complete. Artem out on a lap right now. Let's see what the Mercedes driver can do. The rest of the top 8 are all in the pit lane. And as I say that, Tails has just come out. Same with Fight Me Now bots. So now everybody's coming out as I say that.
Yeah, we're just coming in now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vacant, for coming in. I know last minute.
Yeah, no, thanks for covering for me. I was going to try to be here, but sadly, just got a little bit turned around on time. So, all
no
good
worries.
Now. Yeah, of course, preseason around Interlagos, definitely going to be interesting. Just over 2 minutes left to go, so enough time to maybe get 2 laps in for some of these drivers. And plenty of time to jump up the order as well.
That's very true. Yeah, a lot of these drivers will have the time to, or just about 1 lap, I guess, to go in this session. I'm kind of keeping my eye on Fight Me Now bot, but I guess Artem and Tails, 2 drivers that we have seen. I know, Vacant, you and myself, a lot of these drivers are kind of new to us because Group 1 last season was very different. Of course, you raced there. It's now a totally different division as Fight Me Now bot goes out on a lap. Same with Artem and Tails. That's the top 3. Watch out for them, viewers.
Yeah, of course, Tano's been around since, Season 1, same with Ickle. But, most of the rest of the grid is brand new for LSR, and as you can see, going to be a very competitive division. That field spread already at only about 7/10 here in qualifying. And this is only 14 of the drivers, so, a couple of other guys in there. Occasionally Mango might be able to come in, as well as others. This grid's going to be really, really interesting. Of course, as we're coming through the last bits of qualifying now.
Yeah, that's totally true. There's definitely going to be more drivers for Vegas at round 1 and throughout the season as well. Like I mentioned earlier on, this is the preseason event as Artem comes to the line. Can he improve on his time? Mercedes to the line, and it is I don't think he has improved.
I think he's starting his lap now because he's got that 30 seconds left, so he just burned off a little bit of fuel.
Oh, okay, makes sense. It seems like Tails has done the same thing, so both the top 2 going for another lap here. Good to know, as Robin retires from the session.
Tano's up by a little bit over half a tenth now, coming out of the final couple of corners. In that Red Bull, I think it was up about 600ths. Sector 2, and to the line. Where will Tano go? He'll go to the top.
What a lap from Tano there, the Season 2 Group 2 champion. He won it here in Brazil in Season 2, and he showed that he hasn't lost any pace as he returns to LSR. AMS Tano on provisional pole position with a 107.6.
Meanwhile, Artem, though, coming through the same area, he's up over a tenth of a second. And so, again, just coming out of those final corners, I forget the names off the top of my head, but now Artem to the line. Can he top Tano? Yes, he will. That's a 107.5, so well clear of Tano, at least for some of the field spread that we're seeing here. But it will be Artem taking pole, unless Tails can do anything about it.
Yeah, Tails is up.
2/10 up.
Tails is right on the edge here. It's not over yet.
Off, though. He's out of ERS, coming out of the final corner. I mean, he's going to lose all that time. So he was out of ERS as he came out of the final couple of corners. And so it'll be Tails only starting 3rd.
Wow, oh wow. Yeah, that was definitely an intense end to this qualifying session. I think when you mentioned Tails ran out of the ERS, that seemed to really affect his time there. I think it could have been pole position because I was watching him right at the end. I don't know if you were as well, Vacant, because we were focusing mainly on Artem going provisional pole. Tails was up purple in the second sector coming out of Junsao, which is that final corner. So I think that ERS really affected his lap. He'll start 3rd right behind where he could have started if I think the ERS didn't go out.
Yeah, certainly going to be, definitely challenging there. I think he was up a tenth and a half through those first 2 sectors, which, certainly would have put him right up there battling with Artem just based on that exit out of the final corner. But, still going to be a very tight field. 1.1 seconds separating the field. 108.6 being the slowest time, so very, very quick. As I believe Group 2 yesterday, the fastest time was a 108.2, which is the kind of that 12-13 spot. So it should be very, very quick.
Yeah, this is Group 1, viewers. This is the division where it is the fastest. But remember, this is not our only division in LSR. As Vacan just mentioned there, the time for pole position in Group 2 wasn't like 3 or 4 seconds beyond Group 1, showing that Group 2 is also a very quick division as well. Also, the crossplay tier, I think the pole position was a 108.2 or something like that. So somewhere in the ranges of Group 2. So that crossplay division is also looking very competitive. No formation lap. We're heading straight into this race. Before we begin with the event itself, Vincent, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a very interesting race. Brazil, great circuit for racing. Strategy will definitely come into play here. Wouldn't be surprised to see some medium soft options as well as the kind of traditional hard medium or medium hard. Definitely going to be an exciting one just with how close and how competitive this field's going to be.
Yeah, totally agree with all your points that you've just mentioned there. Fully agree that it's going to be an incredible race. 36 laps await us, viewers, for the first ever session we've had in Group 1. But remember, this is just preseason. It is not the official race. That begins next week at Vegas. Vacan, how do you feel about Vegas being on the calendar for round 1? I know it's a little controversial considering that it is a very difficult track.
Yeah, it's definitely a very difficult track, especially in terms of grip. I think the track itself is going to be great for spectacle, and of course we'll get to see immediately quite how good it is for racing. Having anywhere from hopefully 20 cars all blasting down the strip at 215 miles an hour. Definitely going to be a lot of fun. Whether or not the circuit itself proves for good racing, which of course we have kind of no metric for yet. Should still be very interesting. Opening up the season under the lights, as we do have 5 red lights, and they're underway here in Brazil. It seems that it's clean getaway from all the field. Alfa Romeo quick on the outside, or no, Ferrari quick on the outside. That was Pokerall. Starting 4th, got a quick jump there on tails, and that's a spinning off a Tauri that was not going off track and just trying to come back on. There's a Mercedes round, and Ickel's out.
That is huge for Ickel. Big crash for the Mercedes driver, and that is not good for Ickel in his very first session to this season. Artem leads the way, and it is a virtual safety car that has been called out. That is a stricken Mercedes. 1 out, and Ickel is gone from the session as well. Not a good start for our league owner.
Yeah, couldn't quite get a good view of what happened there. I think it was just coming out of turn 3 there, out of the Curva de Sol, potentially either just getting a little bit loose or having a car get a little bit loose on the inside, and Ickel just, slid out right into the wall, and that's already our first retirement from this race.
Good thing it is just preseason, but Ickel's not going to be happy with this, considering that it is a good session to test. He'll definitely... I'm not really sure what the whole scenario is, so I want to make sure that we get further clarification on that as the safety car is over. Tano got a really good jump on Artem. He's going to look to go for the move. Into turn 1 we go. Tano pulls ahead and into the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Tails and Pokerall also having a good battle here. Ferrari versus McLaren. And watch out for that Haas as well. Jordan, DHL, right behind us. Pokerall's going to try and go to the outside line of Tails, but he's just going to tuck in right behind us. Oh, Vacant, I see you left the session. Is there an error?
Yeah, I got a little bit of desync. Trying to fix that real quick.
Alrighty. Tano leads away, though.
Yeah, if you could get a chance, just go ahead and send me an invite since Ickel left.
I'll try, but
when there's a break in the action.
At the moment, I cannot invite, though, for some reason. It's not allowing me. I wonder if I can try and invite the party, though. Let me try and do that.
Yeah. Sorry about this. We were just had technical difficulties, which at least a little bit used to.
Let me see if I can
Yeah,
invite.
should be sorted.
Yeah, it says I can't even invite through the party either. I wonder if I can. Hold on, viewers. Trying to get this. No, I can't even invite on the. I think because Ickle left the session, I can't invite.
Okay.
But let me see what I can do. Hold on a second. Artem takes the lead.
There was it. If you want to go ahead and stop that.
Oh, the request to join.
The share screen.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second. I'll do that. Oh, actually, I don't know if I can because I'm live streaming. It's Tano retakes the lead now.
That might do it.
Tano and Artem and Tails 3 for the lead of the race on lap 3. While we're going through this, I'm still trying to figure out how to get you in vacant to this session. Oh, as Tano loses a car for the race lead! Oh. That is the Red Bull round. He lost it on the exit there.
Yeah,
so Tano
went too hard on the power there, and just that back end stepped right out from behind him. So he's going to drop back down to 12th. I do have the stream up, so I am a little bit delayed, but still can figure something out there.
Well, let's see how this goes. But anyway, Artem into first. Tails right behind Artem as they come to turn 1. The McLaren takes the lead. Jinx as well, trying to make over the move on Artem down the inside. The Aston Martin looking for that overtake. Gets a little bit too much on the power, though. He's going to have to back out of the Mercedes, on making the move on the Mercedes. Pokerol in the fight as well. Jordan and Fight Me Now Bot. This is almost an 8-way fight for the race lead at the moment, as Jinx now trying to still maintain third position. He's right on the back of Artem, though, as they come into turn 5. That Mercedes is going to have to do some really good defending if he wants to keep the Aston Martin behind.
Of course, great driving from all those drivers to keep it under control. Of course, big twitch there from Jinx. He had the chance at potentially sneaking up the inside at turn 3, but not quite able to make that move work.
So lap 4 into this race, a spin further back. He's not having a good time after that first lap spin, it seems. Let's see what happens. Jinx on the back of Artem, trying to make that move on the Mercedes driver still as they come into lap 5. Tails ahead. Still at the moment, but DRS is enabled to Artem's and Artem loses the car a little bit on the exit there. Jinx is going to have a good opportunity to make that move, and he does. Up into second position for the Aston Martin driver. Artem down to 3rd.
Yeah, was it kind of similar to that mistake we saw from Jinx just a lap ago, just lighting up those tires a little bit, as Nod is going to dive into pit lane and retire.
Ooh, and Artem, a really good move into the inside. Sorry to interrupt, you were saying there, Vacant, but Artem up into 2nd. Now Tano has retired from the session. That's a crash for the Red Bull driver. Is that going to bring out some sort of safety car? I'm not sure, but that's the same place where he went off earlier in the race. Sector 1 yellow flag, I believe that is for AlphaTauri's Nod, who has retired from the session. So now only 11 cars in this race. Tano out with a big crash, but no safety car, which is a little surprising.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a surprise there, because it did look on the mini-map like Tano went in there with some heat, but yeah, really just kind of struggling, potentially locking up the tires or a little bit too much in these early laps, as Fight Me Now and Bot and Pokerol, we see on stream battling side by side. Yeah, good few battles going on up and down the grid. And got this whole pack of 11 remaining cars all in a bit of train with each other.
Yeah, there is still some great battles going on here. Silent also on the back of Jordan as well. He's looking to make that move on the Haas driver. And as you mentioned, Pokerol and Jordan having a good battle as well. Watch out for that. And then, of course, there's that battle for the top 3. Jinx trying to re-overtake Artem. That Aston Martin driver is still in contention for a significant jump into P1, it seems. Yellow flag further behind. I believe that may have been for an Alpine, but I'm not exactly. Robin has left the session. Is that a D desync, maybe. I'm not exactly sure. Ooh, Artem getting a little bit too much on the power off the exit there. And the Mercedes, it's going to lose a little bit of time to tails, but not significant amount of time.
Yeah, it looked like potentially a mistake there from Robin there in that slower middle sector. Of course, not going to know entirely, but hopefully we can find a way back in. I believe Williams and AlphaTauri, I could see battling side by side there in those first couple of corners.
Yeah, there is lots of battles all down the field here in Group 1. Remember, viewers, this is just preseason, so nothing huge. This is not for points, just basically fun testing here, fun racing, trying to get used to the race itself. We're testing some stuff out as well, of course, with no formation lap to make sure that that works and all that sort of thing, because there are still some bugs, as this is a very early, this is still very early into the game's release. So again, this is just preseason. Nothing huge at the moment. Vegas is where everything starts kicking off. This is where we see what these drivers really are going to be doing. And so don't let the attendance here fool you at any point. Tano does leave the session. As meanwhile, Jinx is looking for an overtake on Artem, as the Aston is just all over the back of the Mercedes driver, as he's going to try and send it down the inside. And he's going to look for it, but he's just going to have to pull right behind that Mercedes. Cannot find enough space to make the overtake at the current moment, but he gets a little bit too much on the curb there. Fight Me Now bot. It's going to be right behind that Aston Martin, heading down into turn 4. He's looking for it. He's going to send it. Fight Me Now bot has made that overtake clear, it seems, and he has got it. The Alfa Romeo up into 3rd position. Very good move from Fight Me Now bot. Meanwhile, Jordan and it seems Medj, I believe I pronounced that correctly, are having a good battle.
Yeah, of course, great move there from Fighting Me Now bot. Of course, with that slight tire disadvantage right now being on those hard compound tires. But, of course, we're going to be approaching kind of that crossover point, I'd assume, rather shortly. Of course, still going to take a bit to understand tire life and everything, but a good move from Fighting Me Now bot to move up into the podium places.
And Robin says he's been lagged out of the session. Robin, unfortunately, I don't think I can send you an invite. It's not allowing me to send any invites. I was trying to get Vacant in as well, and can't even get him in either. And I don't understand why, but maybe it's due to the host leaving the session. Maybe it's down to this game not allowing us to invite after the session has started. Not really sure.
Yeah, I think it might be something to do with host migration. So, potentially another bug, as I can see. That's Jinx getting pretty defensive on Pokerall, and once again losing a position, or once again Jinx loses a position down at turn 4. I think there's probably a mistake earlier in the lap that led to that too. But Jinx now down into P5 as Pokerall able to take a position away.
Alrighty, well, let's see. Let's see what we can do here for the remainder of this race. Pokerall, P4, ahead of Jinx. And what do I mean by that is basically like we want to see where these drivers can go. Who's going to win this race? Tails looks pretty confident at the moment. Artem in 2nd, Fight Me Now bot in 3rd. Pokerall, P4. And then there's Jinx trying to defend against Jordan. Jinx losing a little bit of time as well. I'm going to try and get tires. Oh, and he's actually coming to the pit lane. Is that down to his tires? I'm not exactly sure. But let me see if I can get it.
I believe he's on mediums. He does get a 5-second penalty there. Your pit lane entry at Brazil, especially when you have ABS off, is surprisingly difficult, especially with that kind of chicane you have right before the pit entry. If you're too aggressive heading in, definitely easy to get crossed up there, as Jinx is going to come out on the hard compound tire. But yeah, really easy to get crossed up and lock up on pit lane entry there, which means 5-second penalties can come pretty easy still.
That's definitely true. Well, we still have 11 drivers in this race. Still more racing to come. And Williams having oh, there's a Haas going off the track. That's Jordan going a little wide there. It's going to come back out on track in a safe position, though, so it's all good. He has lost a position to Silent, though. Silent up into 6th now. And Bats Plus is going to be right on the back of the Haas as well. So let's see how this goes. Oh, there's an AlphaTauri trying to make a move. That's silent on Medj in that Williams. Hopefully I'm pronouncing these names correctly. Sorry if I'm not. But the AlphaTauri up into 5th position now. And Vacant, I know you're further behind because of the stream. Sorry about that. But yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what to do on that.
Yeah, it is what it is. I can manage here. Should be able to work it out for the opener next weekend. But yeah, just kind of got messed up with my calendar there. But yeah, good move there from Silent to get the overtake on. I think we'll just say the Williams for today, and you'll all know what we're talking about.
Ooh, Jinx 3-second time penalty there in the Aston Martin. That's another penalty for the Aston, as he's P9, but he is on the fresher tires, so that should help him in terms of grip. But yeah, that's a little unfortunate for the Aston Martin driver. Sorry, I'm spaced out at the moment. What were we talking about just a moment ago before that?
What was it? I know it was a good move there from the AlphaTauri. Was I think basically the gist of it. We're starting here on lap number 12. It seems that Tails and Artem starting to make a little bit of a getaway, and just about break DRS. I don't think they quite got that, but McLaren and the Mercedes starting to make a little bit of getaway there at the front.
Well, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what they can do. I mean, Fight Me Now Bot is in a position to still challenge these two drivers, but they really are kind of pulling away. These might be the two drivers of the championship. Who knows? Later on in the season, we'll see if Mercedes and McLaren can fight. But yeah, let's see. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, it should be very, very interesting. Definitely a lot to expect from the season. Of course, got a good bit of action here already. And only at about the 1/3 mark of this race, so still plenty of racing left to go.
Now approaching lap 13, Artem challenging Tails. It seems 3/10 of a gap between the McLaren and the Mercedes. So let's see what they can do as well. Artem right on the back of Tails. That's 5/10 the gap.
So Artem definitely staying within range with DRS. Now they actually have made that breakaway, that gap up over 1.2 seconds. We're going to see if it holds, though. Seems like it should, but I think now it fully is that two-horse race between Tails and Artem.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's definitely at the moment at least, it's between Tails and Artem, but Fight Me Now Bot can catch up. I mean, the gap is only a second, and in racing terms, that's a lot for F1. But in other racing as well, like that's not that's a small gap. I mean, in like WBC, IMSA, and all that sort of thing, you have gaps that are like 30 seconds, and they say, "Oh, he's catching up. That's close."
Yep. Yeah, and of course, within that like 2-second range is probably about within undercut range. Of course, that's going to depend on the track. The undercut really, really strong this year. Even more than years past. Whether that's probably due, some of that's probably due to the specific tire model, and especially due to this how tires wear specifically. Because I don't know the specifics, but I do know that new tires are especially strong in this year's game. So of course we'll have to see how many seconds a driver like Jinx can make up by boxing back on lap 10 for those hards, compared to Tails and Artem, because of course he's 14 seconds back of the pack right now, but that gap is continuously coming down, so definitely worth keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, definitely true. That's a very good point you make there, Vacant. We'll definitely see how this goes for this particular driver, but yeah, we still have like a ways to go. I mean, this is 14 laps into this race. We've come a long way, I guess you could say. But there's still anything can happen, really. As it seems, Medj is going for a move on Silent. Battle for P5 between these 4 drivers. Jordan and Bats also having a good battle. It seems Williams versus Haas, as Bats is just going to stick behind Jordan, but Jordan's got a really good jump on Silent in that Haas seat, and we'll see what Jordan can do. Silent defending, and Jordan will not make that overtake. Medj and Jordan are both reserves, but still looking for a full-time drive. I think we could see both of them in a seat very soon. Maybe even next weekend we could see them in a full-time seat if they've joined for this race and others have not. I would like to see them in a full-time drive. We also have some comments coming in the live stream as well, and I believe, let me see, hold on a second. Tom says, when does the season start?
Yeah, so, season kicks off next weekend at Vegas. Is AlphaTauri, they're getting a little bit loose. But yeah, season kicks off next weekend at Vegas for all of our F1 divisions. So, of course, we're up to 4 with groups 1 and obviously going on right now. Group 2 is Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, which I believe is at 9 p.m. British Summer Time, if that's correct. We also have Group 3 later today. We have our Crossplay group on Fridays, as well as LWSR, our GT7 division, which just got wrapped up with, I believe, round number 4, which is a Sunday edition as well. So definitely plenty of options. Of course, streaming here will be mostly F1, just due to some crossover and some scheduling there. But yeah, plenty of action, whether you're looking to tune in or to join in. So definitely feel free to do either of those.
Thank you for explaining that, Vacant. Yep, that's our 4 F1 divisions and our 1 GT division as well. All 5 are definitely competitive, fun, and entertaining, of course, as Jordan goes wide again at turn 11, I believe that is. So I wonder if he's struggling for understeer issues. Or remember, viewers, this is a preseason race, as we have stated many times, but the reason why I'm bringing it up again is because these drivers are also testing setups, they're testing strategy, they're testing themselves. You know, this is a really big test, not an official race. This is a very big test for these drivers to kind of understand like where this is going to be. It's basically just a practice race. As Silent comes into the pit lane on those 16-lap-old medium tires, switching to, I'm assuming, the hards, and yes, it is for the hard tires. AlphaTauri have done a very neat stop for Silent, and he comes out in P10 behind Raul Riz in that Alfa Romeo, soon-to-be full-time Ferrari driver as well. Also, wanted to keep an eye out on Fight Me Now bot. He has jumped R10 up into 2nd position now. The Alfa Romeo driver is now just a few tenths behind our race leader, Tails. What do you make of Fight Me Now bot's performance at this stage?
Yeah, he's definitely shown a lot of pace. Of course, picked up a position, or actually, kind of held station on the start. But has since just been, pretty incisive through the field. I believe he started P5. But yeah, he's kept it nice, clean. Of course, good move. Good move there to overtake Artem. And of course, could be pressuring Tails, who's led for most of this race, in just a little while's time.
Yeah, that's very true. Very, very true. Yeah, let's see what Fight Me Now bot can do. 3 tenths now to Tails, and right on the back now 2 tenths to Tails, and Tails goes a little bit wide. That allows Fight Me Now bot to have a even better chance at overtaking the race leader, or current race leader at the time being, as the McLaren just going to stay ahead for the time. Fight Me Now bot is right behind as they come into Sector 2, and I think you'll have a really good shot at overtaking Tails into the long straight at the exit of 18. Also, keep an eye on strategy as well, viewers. Vacant, what do you make of strategy right now? Do you think Fight Me Now bot maybe has an opportunity to do like some sort of undercut strategy on Tails? Do you think that might be a better option than actually literally overtaking him?
I think that's a really good question. I think that probably would be the best option to forge a gap, but at the same time, you gotta time it right at this point, because especially, tires really fall off, if I'm not mistaken, around that kind of 58% tire wear mark. So that'll be something really interesting to watch. Bats down in P7 as well is going to be an interesting driver to watch throughout the rest of the session, as he does get that speeding in the pit lane penalty, as I say that pretty much. It'll definitely be interesting to see what tires he takes for the back half of this race, as he will go medium soft. So where Bats ends up panning out is definitely going to be very interesting, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Fight Me Now Bot try to get that undercut on Tails and hit within the next lap or two.
Well, Tails, definitely going to be interesting to see what he does if Fight Me Now Bot does go for that undercut strategy. If Tails responds immediately, maybe he goes for the early pit stop instead of Fight Me Now Bot, or maybe even Artem as well, and Poker Roll as well. In that fight is Fight Me Now Bot. There's the undercut, and so does Tails as well. Both pit and whoa! There's the Alfa Romeo almost spinning into the pit lane there. That was a good save from Fight Me Now Bot.
Definitely surprised to not see 5-second penalties there. I know that happened on 2 occasions to me yesterday in Group 2, where there was just that little bit of cross-up as Haas and the Williams battling it out for P3, at least on track. Yeah, should be interesting to see now where Tails and Fight Me Now Bot exit, particularly in relation to Artem and Pokerall, who I'd imagine are going to box in just a few seconds now.
Yeah, that's definitely true. They will most likely box in the next lap or two, and they have to, because if they are going to want to stay in contention for this race lead battle, they need to respond to the 2 race leaders, or 2 recent race leaders, as soon as possible. Artem stays out, Pokerol into the pit lane. So different strategies here. Let's see where Pokerol comes out. Ferrari waiting for their driver to come into the pit lane. There goes the Ferrari crew. Pit stop has now been made. Also, meanwhile, Tails making the move on Jinx for P5 currently, and Pokerol coming to the exit of the pit lane. Now Tails gets ahead. Fight Me Now Bot gets ahead as well. They had the undercut strategy, and they were ahead at the beginning of this, so I would expect them to stay ahead. But Pokerol's going to come out of the pit lane about 5 or so seconds behind Fight Me Now Bot, who's now just got ahead of Jinx as well. And here comes Silent and Bats Plus. Silent has the DRS on Bats, but he's not going to make that move. Bats is on the soft tires as well, and so is Pokerol. Pokerol on the soft tires. That's an interesting strategy here. Vacant, do you think that Ferrari driver could go to the end of the race on the soft tires for about 15 laps?
I think it's definitely possible to get to that point. I think the question, though, is whether he can kind of hold that pace. Of course, he's already about 3 seconds back of Jinx, and 4 seconds back of that train he was in with Tails and Fight Me Now Bot. So potentially going to those soft tires a lap too late, even with how many laps there are left to go.
That's very true. Oh, Jinx out of the race in the pit lane, actually. Okay, that's a very strange retirement. I wonder if he felt that he was too far behind or something like that, but that is Jinx out of the race. And Tails and Fight Me Now Bot now retake the lead. Pokerol has jumped Artem in the pit lane. That is maybe because of his outlap. Artem a little too late maybe on the on that pit stop, or was it just about right?
Yeah, I think that's just about where he wants to be. I think with those soft compound tires, you'd expect Pokerol to be, to try and break a little bit ahead. Of course, having that track position is going to be really important, as he's already trying to grow that gap. But I don't think it's a terrible choice from Artem there. Though, of course, you're all definitely one track position, though he's not out of it.
Very true. Very true. Well, let's see how this goes, because there is about, let's say, I don't know, how many more laps are remaining in this race? Like 14, 13, something
I
like
believe
that?
it's 14. I believe it's 14 to go. It'll be 13, it'll be 13 at the start of the next lap.
Okay, that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
and Artem gets a 3-second time penalty. That's going to affect his race a little bit. That might prevent him from getting onto the podium. And there is Tails overtaking the Alpine. That Alpine is ghosted, I believe. I believe that's Robin.
That's Robin.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Pokerol in third, Artem fourth. Bats Plus is now in fifth, but he's on... Actually, that's a good question. Bats Plus is on the soft tires. But those softs are 4 laps old. That's what I see on my screen at the moment.
Yes.
I don't know if he can make it to the end.
Yeah, I think it's, that's, again, going to be another big question there. Definitely haven't done a ton of testing to see just how many laps those soft tires can last. With some of these drivers' pace, it might be less, how long can they last before they hit a certain percent, and more, can you continue to race with them and keep them out of that puncture range? Of course, he does have that 3-second gap to silent, or actually 2-second gap to silent, that is growing, but of course definitely going to be how his lap times kind of change over these next 13 laps.
Raul Ruiz has now retired from the session. Sorry to interrupt what we were saying there, but Raul is out of this race. He was very far back. Remember, viewers, as well, since this is a preseason event, a lot of these drivers are going to be feeling like if they're too far back, they're going to retire because this isn't for points. There's nothing they can really do here. This is a lot of testing, so yeah, there's not much more I can really say. So that's why there's a few retirements in this race in the pit lane as well. But yeah, Vacant, you're definitely correct on this. Hold on a second. I'll come back to what I was saying in just a bit. Fight Me Now Bot has looked to make that overtake on Tails. He's right behind the McLaren, but then gets a little bit twitchy off the exit of turn 1. And that Alfa Romeo is just going to step back a little bit, but he is right on the back. There's an Alfa Romeo in the middle. Hopefully they don't collide. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, that was close. That Alfa Romeo is ghosted, thankfully, but sometimes, since we do have ghosting on, it is good, but sometimes there is a game glitch where the car doesn't ghost. That's happened before in LSR and League Racing itself. But yeah, this is going to be really interesting. 10 or so laps to go. Tails in the lead, but Fight Me Now Bot's right behind, and Pokerol in third as well. So this is going to be one heck of an end to this race.
Yeah, definitely. You could see probably a little bit of lock there from Fight Me Now Bot into turn 1. Otherwise, he might have had a chance to make that move stick. Of course, he's going to have another chance to take the lead just coming up here. I think running a lot less downforce than that McLaren he's chasing. Very true, very true.
Well, let's see how this goes. It's gonna be interesting, man. I mean, like, this is it's like, where do you put your car? Where do you make that overtake? It kind of reminds me of do you remember 2021 when Verstappen was looking to overtake Hamilton and he was like right behind him? It was very intense as well, considering they were having this championship fight, and we knew that they had come together before. It was kind of like, is that going to happen again? Is it not? Like, that's what I'm getting the same vibes here in this battle for first.
Yeah. I definitely feel that as well. It's definitely you got to pick and choose your battles, especially in this game. Braking is that little bit more difficult because you can't run 50% brake bias like you've been able to in years past. A lot more easier to lock the rears and potentially have that overtake spoiled. From the look of things, both these drivers able to keep nice and clean. But we'll have to see when exact.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Vacant, but Fight Me Now Bot's going for the race lead. Tails retakes it, though. The McLaren driver is back into the lead, but Fight Me Now Bot's right behind. He's looking for the overtake on the McLaren. Down to turn 4 we go. The Alpha is pulling ahead, and he's going to make it. He gets ahead. Fight Me Now Bot now leads the Brazilian Grand Prix on lap 27. Tails can do nothing to defend or to re-overtake the Alfa Romeo. Fight Me Now Bot is back in the race lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix once again in LSR.
Yeah, really good battling there from both the Alfa Romeo and the McLaren. A little bit of contact both at turn 1 and then again, I think, down in the run to turn 4. But, you know, as you were just saying, Fight Me Now Bot really just, you know, picking that opportunity, looking to take that right around the outside and making of all the space that he could. Now, of course, leads this race, but, of course, Tails not giving up quite yet.
He definitely is not. Yeah, Tails is right behind that Alfa Romeo coming down to turn 1. DRS enabled. This is the re-overtake for the race lead. Tails is back in the lead. Here we go. Tails in the lead now. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Artem as well. Sorry. Artem as well able to overtake Pokerall in much the same way. You know, only 3.7 seconds adrift, but of course, with 2 laps fresher tires, is Fight Me Now Bot as well. As I was saying, that does make that overtake down into turn 4.
Yeah, Fight Me Now Bot into first now, as we also have a battle for what seems like 5th position. It seems Williams versus Haas Bats Plus, right behind Midge and Jordan as well. Jordan in P5 holding up those 2 Williams, and then you also got Silent right behind those guys as well. So the battle for 5th is definitely going at it as well, but we have to keep an eye on that battle for the race lead. Fight Me Now Bot has re-overtaken Tails, but not for long, because here comes Tails again on that Alfa Romeo. It's an almost repeat of last lap and the lap before. Is this going to continue to the end of the race? I guess we'll have to find out. But here comes Tails on that Alfa Romeo. Speed is the advantage. Is he going to send it to the inside? No, he breaks a little bit too early there, and he's going to stick behind. That's a unique strategy from Tails here. That tells me that he's going to try and go for that overtake into turn 4, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. DRS enabled, really good run. Fight Me Now Bot can do nothing to defend against the power of that Mercedes engine in the McLaren. As the MCL 60 is now into first position, Tails takes the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix once again, but Fight Me Now Bot is right behind. He's looking for that overtake. He doesn't go for it. He's just going to stay right behind that McLaren as these two continue this epic fight for the race lead. Tails gets out of shape, though. Fight Me Now Bot is right behind that McLaren as they come into turn 9.
Yeah, great battle going on there. Of course, very, very tight, and got to see a little bit of DRS chicken there from Tails, just kind of making that right move. Now let's see if he can take that McLaren and potentially try and defend. So with changes for the lead over the past couple laps, I doubt it.
Well, here we go. It was Tails trying to overtake Fight Me Now Bot earlier. Let's see if Fight Me Now Bot's going to go for it on Tails down to turn 1 as he gets very close to the McLaren, gets ahead, defends well, and Tails is down in a second now. Fight Me Now Bot is back in the lead, but there's another DRS stretch as we come down to turn 4. Let's see what the McLaren can do. Tails is the DRS. Can Fight Me Now Bot defend? He's just going to stick to the outside line. Tails is just going to get ahead, it seems. Oh, a little bit of contact between the two. Fight Me Now Bot is off the track. He's going to maintain second. He's going to retain third. So he's going to drop the position to Artem. A little bit of contact between the two now. So what did you make of that, Vacant? Did you see the contact between the two there?
Yeah, it did look like Tails just kind of squeezed over to the right, potentially a little bit too early. Of course, that definitely would be an incident that would go to the stewards for review there. But, you know, I think Tails maybe making that move to the right a little touch too soon and pushing Fight Me Now Bot off the circuit. Of course, you know, definitely good to see that both drivers still in the race, and I believe Fight Me Now Bot, I'd assume, without any significant damage. But of course, one of the big winners here are going to be Artem and Pokerall, who now could very quickly get into this fight, as Fight Me Now Bot, you know, could just see him pretty well blast past Artem down into turn 1.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Fight Me Now bot now into second and only a second behind Tails now. So the battle is not over for first position. It could have been a mistake by Tails, with the contact at turn 4. Like you said, it could have been a little too early from the McLaren driver there. And if we feel that it needs to be discussed by the stewards, the stewards can definitely take a look at that. Usually during these preseason races, it's not like we're like going and saying you need to report this or whatever like we usually do in the season itself. But the stewards can take a look at it if it's brought up, if it's investigated, if they talk about it and say like, hey, I would really like to report this. However, Fight Me Now bot, the driver involved, is actually the head steward of this league, so I'm not really sure how that's going to work out. It'll probably fall to the remaining stewards, the other stewards in this league.
Yes. Sorry to cut you off there.
Oh, no, that's fine. I was done with what I was saying anyway, so you're good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Of course, haven't had significant issues with that in the past, so I'd assume it should be okay. And of course, that definitely would be an interesting thing to review. I think Tails just was looking to open up turn 4 just a little bit, as side by side there. Contact there too, between Fight Me Now bot and Artem.